today's presentation. It's crabs, baby!
Yay!
Crabs!
Which kind?
Crabs, specifically hermit crabs.
Wow.
We all love them. First thing to know is that they're not actually crabs.
Fucking eels aren't eels. Crabs aren't crabs. Is anything real? Is anything real?
Nothing is real, Jen. Only crabs of the infraorder Brachyura are true crabs.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else that we describe as crabs generally has undergone the process of carcinization. Borrowdale, who coined the term carcinization, described a species that had undergone that process as one of the many attempts of nature to evolve a crab. So, carcinization is the process by which some kind of crustacean undergoes the process of convergently evolves to be a crab-like shape, and at least 5 different decapod crustaceans, so that's crustaceans with 10 legs, have evolved crab-like forms. So that's including the true crabs from the infraorder Brachyura, and as well as hermit, porcelain, king, and hairy stone crabs from the infraorder Anomura.
Tag yourself. I'm Harry Stone.
I'm king.
I'll take hermit if I have to.
You can also be king.
I wanted to be king.
We can both be king range. So, most of the other creatures that aren't true crabs, that we call crabs, are from the infraorder Anomura, and also decapod crustaceans. Here's some lovely examples of poser crabs, not true crabs.
Wow.
They're not real
Middle.
crabs, they're posers.
So good.
So we've got, not all of these are the Anomura crustaceans, not all of them are even crustaceans. So from clockwise around, we've got the horseshoe crab, the porcelain crab, hermit crab, the king crab, coconut crab, which is another kind of hermit crab, a terrestrial hermit crab, and crab lice.
Tag yourself. I'm crab lice.
I want to switch to porcelain now I've seen it.
Yeah, so here we have some of our gorgeous hermit crabs in their hermit crab homes. Hermit crabs most often select snail shells for their little houses, but if there aren't enough snail shells around, sometimes they'll pick all kinds of things. So often trash, often garbage that humans have left in the sea. Sometimes a little hermit crab will turn into a little home, including this broken bottle. And some fantastic artists have made beautiful glass snail shell type things for hermit crabs to use as their homes as well, because some people like to keep hermit crabs as pets and give them little fancy houses, or paint their houses with little decorations and things.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying about the mushrooms. Like, we like to destroy nature and such like, but also by phrasing it exactly that way, we're really separating ourselves more than we should. Look at these little crabs in pieces of what we call trash, living their lives. You can't keep it away. You can't keep life away.
Yeah, exactly. It'll make a home wherever it can, and where it can is a surprising range of places. You know.
That's horrific.
Baby dolls' heads. Yeah.
That's like the like in Toy Story 1, Sid's like toys that he like Frankenstein together.
Quite terrifying. If you look at it like this way round, it just looks like a scary baby. Like, it's got its little arms, like, ah. The Hermit Crab property chain. This is just literally a quote from Wikipedia. I'm not smart, but this, I just like the phrasing so much. Like, okay.
The great thing about Wikipedia is it's Creative Commons, so you can just use it.
Yeah, it's so special. I honestly, when Wikipedia came up with the little, please give us some money if everybody reading this article just gave like £2, we keep going and sharing information with the world. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna give £2. Like, I'm using Wikipedia for all of my content right now, so please continue doing do what you're doing, Wikipedia. Back to the Hermit Crab property chain. When an individual crab finds a new empty shell, it will leave its own shell and inspect the vacant shell for size. If the shell is found to be too large, the crab goes back to its own shell and then waits by the vacant shell for up to 8 hours. As the new crabs arrive, they also inspect the shell and, if it is too big, wait with the others, forming a group of up to 20 individuals, holding onto each other in the line from the largest to the smallest crab. As soon as a crab arrives that is the right size for the vacant shell and claims it, leaving its old shell vacant, then all the crabs in the queue swiftly exchange shells in sequence, each one moving up to the next size.
So fantastic.
Wow.
That's so clever.
That's so polite.
One man's old shell.
Trash is another person's treasure.
Yeah, that one.
Now I'd like the two of you to
God.
draw me what you think a hermit crab looks like without its house.
Is this why you told us to get paper?
Uh-huh.
God.
What colour
Okay.
should I do?
Okay. This needs sort of like do 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 music, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The decapods, you say?
Little clue.
Ah, so that they'll need. I see. They'll need at least 10 legs. So 3 is not enough. I'm gonna put a smiley face.
Yeah.
Ah, I look so happy.
Is it time?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Alright, show me. Nice.
And I'll hold it
Okay.
so the camera can see
Okay,
it as well.
so Rachel's one's quite lobster-like.
I tried to give him
Yeah.
a really tiny bum.
Jen's
Like a
one's
really small
quite kind of
back end.
scorpion-like.
Yeah, mine's like a scorpion.
Yeah.
I was so tempted to draw a penis. You do not understand. The restraint it took to not draw a massive dick.
Okay. When you see the reality, you'll be annoyed that you didn't just draw a penis, honestly.
Why? Why do I never listen to my own desires? Why must I always stop myself? I don't...
Okay, those were excellent, and I think very good considering. Had either of you seen a hermit crab without its shell before?
No.
Here is what a hermit crab without a house looks like. That soft, squidgy, curly organ.
That actually isn't too dissimilar, if I'm being honest with you. I'm giving myself
Right.
a point. I'm giving myself a point, and I'm not gonna stand against it. I mean, the legs are in the wrong place. But
Yeah, I gave him too many little back legs and not enough big front legs, and I did not imagine it would be that curly or that squishy.
Right. I think you both did extremely well, but when the whole reason I did this presentation was because I had a sudden thought, what does a hermit crab look like inside its shell? Like, they travel between shells, like, what do they look like? And then I saw one, and I was like, what the fuck? I I never would have imagined that's what it looks like, because you just see this crabby, like, crusty exterior, but the part of themselves that they keep hidden in the shell is, like, soft and squishy, and it's really curly like that because it's designed to curl up inside the snail shell and, like, grip onto the inside of the snail shell. And if they are left for a full day outside of a shell, they desiccate, they dry up, and they die. So they really need those shells, like, and skipping between shell to shell is actually quite a hazardous thing for them to do, because quite often there's a lot of competition for the good shells, and they'll steal them from each other. And if they're left without one for a day, they die.
Oh, I thought they were polite little crustaceans.
Yeah, well, we've heard about all of the collaboration between hermit crabs in, you know,
Popular
negotiating
media.
the best shells for everyone. Let's hear about the competition. So, some species of hermit crabs even like renovate the mollusk shells that they are using for their home. So this one has carved out the inside of the shell so that it has more space inside of it. But that unfortunately means that the piece of the shell that most hermit crab species grip onto with their curly tail is actually not there. It doesn't have that central, like, column for it to curl around, which means that this shell is easy for it to lose. The hermit crabs steal the shells from each other, and that puts it in a lot of danger because it's suddenly not so able to grip onto the shell that it spent a lot of time working on to make it spacious for itself, and so another hermit crab can just come along and steal it more easily. This set of circumstances has led someone to investigate the relationship between how valuable a shell is to a hermit crab and its penis size. Expensive house in the world of hermit crabs equals big dick. Ladra investigated how basically sex for hermit crabs is one of the most risky things that they can do, aside because they have to sort of come out of their shell a little bit, basically.
Because I have to do that as well.
They have to come out of their shell to have sex, and that puts them at risk of having their shell stolen from them by another hermit crab. And obviously, the more valuable or the more work they've put into that shell, or the easier it is for them to lose that shell if they've done work on it, which makes it harder for them to grip onto, the more risky it is for them to engage in sex. And so they've evolved to, if it's more risky, they have evolved a longer penis so that they don't have to, like, come out of their shell as far.
Stretch.
And they don't have to risk losing their shell as much.
I mean, this sounds very similar to humans.
And so the name of this study that was written was called Private Parts for Private Property, Evolution of Penis Size with More Valuable, Easily Stolen Shells.
Academics just love naming papers.
They really do. And I love naming this slide, Expensive House equals Big Dick.
So what you're saying is that they're actually undercompensating with their fancy stuff?
It's the opposite of the big car, tiny dick. Expensive house, big dick. Which leads us on to coconut crabs. And coconut crabs are also a type of hermit crab that are absolutely massive.
Oh my goodness.
God.
They are huge.
Yeah.
But, as you can see, once they get to a certain size, they recalcify their abdomen, and so they no longer need to find a house. They carry the house around with them, like other crabs. So they no longer, after their sort of juvenile stage, they no longer have that soft, squishy body that needs protecting in a house. And as a consequence, they have a smaller penis to body size ratio because they don't need to risk having their house stolen every time they have sex.
They didn't need it.
He's a grower, not a shower. That's what they say, isn't it?
They're also just really huge, just like...
I mean, either that's a very small bin.
No, it's just a big crab. They grow up to like 1 meter in size. And I saw that some hermit crab species can live up to 70 years.
Wow.
What can they teach us?
And that's all she wrote about crabs. I was very excited to do a fun biology one.
You have been a little bit
Crabs.
outshined by this GIF, though. I do love it.
Yeah,
I could watch this for hours.
Don't know what.
It's not even a
literally,
hermit crab, I'm
literally
just
disappeared.
staring.
Literally glossed over. Look at the footage. I was glossed over staring at the crab.
It's fixed.